My name is Henry. I'm 38 years old now, but this story begins 20 years ago when I was 18, quiet, lonely, and completely invisible. Let me explain what I mean by invisible. I grew up in a small town, in a small house, with parents who worked hard every day. My father was a factory worker. My mother cleaned offices in the evening. They loved me, I know they did, but we never talked about feelings in my family. When I came home from school, my mother would ask, "Did you eat?" or "Did you finish your homework?" She never asked, "Are you happy?" or "How do you feel today?" It wasn't her fault, that's just how things were. In our family, feelings were private. You kept them inside. You didn't bother other people with your problems. So I learned to be quiet. I learned to take care of myself. I learned to never ask for attention. At school, I was the same. I wasn't popular. I wasn't unpopular. I was just there. Teachers didn't remember my name. Classmates didn't invite me to parties. I sat in the middle of the classroom, not at the front where the smart kids sat, not at the back where the cool kids sat, just in the middle, invisible. I never complained. I told myself, this is fine, this is normal. Not everyone can be the main character. Some people are just background characters, and that's okay. But deep down, really deep down, I wished someone would see me, just once. The summer before my second year of university, I didn't go home like most students. I needed money. My parents couldn't afford to give me extra spending money, and I didn't want to ask, so I found a part-time job at Walmart. Walmart is a big supermarket. You probably know it. My job there was simple. I was a stock clerk. Every day I moved heavy boxes, organized shelves, and made sure everything looked neat. It was boring work, but I didn't mind. I liked being useful. I liked having something to do. The other workers didn't pay much attention to me. I was just the quiet college kid who showed up, did his job, and left. Nobody asked about my life. Nobody started conversations with me. And honestly, I didn't expect them to. That was my normal, until I saw her. It was a regular afternoon. I was pushing my cart through the store like I always did, and then I saw her. She was standing near the entrance, behind a small table covered with Dove chocolates. Her job was to hand out free samples. She would smile, hold out a piece of chocolate, and say, "Would you like to try one?" The first time I saw her, I stopped walking. I just stood there, holding my cart, staring. She had long black hair. She wore a simple white shirt and a purple apron. But what I noticed most was her smile. It wasn't a polite, fake smile. It was real, warm, like sunlight coming through a window. She laughed easily, the kind of person who just made everyone around her feel comfortable. When kids grabbed too many chocolates, she didn't mind. When old grandmas said the chocolate was too sweet, she smiled and said, "Then you need the dark chocolate. It's healthier." I had never seen someone so alive. But I didn't go talk to her. I was nobody. She was the kind of person who belonged in the light, not someone who would notice a background character like me. So I just watched, from a distance. For the next few days, I found excuses to walk past her table. I pretended to organize products on a nearby shelf. I moved the same box 3 or 4 times just so I could stay a little longer. I wasn't brave enough to talk to her, but I couldn't help it. I just wanted to be close to her, to watch her smile, to notice the little things she did. That's what it feels like when you start to like someone, right? You can't stop looking at them. Then, one afternoon, everything changed. I was pushing my heavy cart toward the storage elevator at the back of the store. It was the end of my shift and I was tired. I just wanted to finish my work and go home. But then the elevator doors opened. And there she was, standing inside, surrounded by huge stacks of chocolate boxes, looking a little stressed. She saw me and said, "Could you help me? These boxes are so heavy. I tried to carry them all at once, but I think I was too ambitious." She laughed at herself, a small, embarrassed laugh. "Of course," I said. I tried to sound calm, but my heart was pounding. The elevator ride was only 30 seconds, but I noticed everything. The smell of her shampoo, sweet and fresh, and the way she let out a long breath, relieved that someone was finally helping her. After I helped her move the boxes, she smiled and said, "Thank you so much. You saved my day. What's your name?" "Henry," I said. "I'm Lily. Nice to meet you, Henry." She held out her hand. I shook it. I walked away with a stupid smile on my face. It was just a handshake, but to me, it meant everything. Finally, someone had actually seen me. After that, I visited her table every day. I asked stupid questions like, "Is the dark chocolate popular today? Are your legs tired from standing so long?" She always answered kindly, even when my small talk was awkward. But here's the truth. She didn't see me the way I saw her. To her, I was just a nice coworker, nothing more. I knew this, but I didn't want to believe it. Summer ended too quickly. On my last day, I asked for her phone number. She said yes. I walked home feeling like the luckiest guy in the world. I looked at her name in my phone contacts, Lily. I thought, maybe I actually have a chance. But things didn't happen the way I imagined. We went back to our universities, different cities, 3 hours apart by train. I texted her all the time, small things like, "Don't forget to drink some coffee. I saw something funny and thought of you." Or just a simple, "I hope you had a good day." At first, she replied, but her messages were short. "Good, thanks. Just studying. Busy today." Weeks passed. Her replies got shorter. Sometimes she didn't reply at all. I checked my phone every few minutes. When she replied, I felt relieved. When she didn't, I felt terrible. This is what they call unrequited love, loving someone who doesn't love you back. I couldn't focus on anything. In class, my mind was always somewhere else. I couldn't sleep. My chest felt heavy all the time. I needed to do something to stop thinking, so I started running. Every evening, I went to the university track and ran as fast as I could, lap after lap, until my body couldn't move anymore. When I ran, my mind was finally quiet. But running wasn't enough. I had so many things I wanted to tell her, but I couldn't, so I started writing letters. In the library, I filled notebook after notebook with words I was too scared to say, letters to Lily that I never planned to send. Dear Lily, sometimes I wish I had the courage to tell you how I feel. I've typed so many messages and then deleted them, but I never send them because I'm scared. Running emptied my body, writing emptied my mind, but neither fixed the real problem. 2 years passed like this. By the end of my 3rd year, something inside me broke. I was sitting in the library, staring at my stack of notebooks, full of letters, full of feelings, full of words I had never spoken out loud. And suddenly, I realized I was wasting my time, not because of Lily, she was wonderful, but because of me. I wasn't really living, I was hiding. For 2 years, I had been hiding behind my running, my letters, my silence. I told myself I was waiting for the right moment, but the truth was simple. I was scared. That night, I made a decision. I didn't want to hide anymore. I called Lily the next morning and asked to meet her. On Saturday, I packed all my letters into a bag and took the 3-hour train trip to her city. The coffee shop was small and cozy. She was sitting by the window. When she saw me, she gave me a big smile. I sat down and put a thick stack of letters on the table. "What is all this?" she asked. "These are letters," I said. "I've been writing them for 2 years. All of them are for you." Then I told her everything: the chocolate table, the elevator, the texting, the running, the writing, all of it. "I know you don't feel the same way," I said. "I'm not here to ask you to love me back. I just needed you to know. I was tired of hiding." Lily didn't say anything for a long time. She picked up a letter and started reading, then another, then another. When she looked up, her eyes were wet. "I had no idea," she said softly. "I thought you were just being friendly." She looked me in the eyes and said, "I don't feel the same way. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But no one has ever cared about me this much." She put her hand on the letters. "Maybe we should give each other a chance to really get to know each other." I couldn't believe it. A minute ago, I thought it was the end. I was ready to walk out of that coffee shop and never see her again. But now, she was giving me a chance. I felt like I was on cloud 9. I nodded, probably too fast. "Yes," I said, "I would love that." We started over. We talked about everything. I told her about my quiet childhood. She told me about her fears and dreams. I realized she wasn't always the confident person I imagined. She was human. She started texting me first. "Good morning. Can't wait to see you this weekend." We visited each other on weekends, and slowly things changed. She started to fall in love with me. She told me later that she loved the honesty in my letters, but more than that, she loved being with someone who treated her like she was the whole world. We stayed together all through university. 2 years after we graduated, we got married. It was a small, warm wedding with just family and close friends. During the ceremony, one of my friends read part of an old letter I wrote to Lily. I was so embarrassed I wanted to hide under the table, but then I looked at Lily. She was laughing with tears in her eyes. It was the most amazing moment of my life. Today, we have 2 children. Sometimes late at night, Lily takes out my old letters. She likes to read the funny parts out loud to tease me. "Listen to this," she says, laughing. "Your smile is like sunlight breaking through the clouds." "Really? Sunlight?" I shake my head, smiling. Okay, I was 18. Then I look at her. "I know it sounds silly," I say, "but back then, you really were my sunlight." She leans her head on my shoulder and says, "I'm glad you were." I sit there for a moment, holding her hand, thinking about the past. I think about the scared, quiet boy I used to be. If I could go back in time and talk to my 18-year-old self, what would I say? I would say, don't wait 2 years, but I would also say, it's okay that you did, because those 2 years taught me something important, something I might never have learned any other way. The scariest thing is not rejection. The scariest thing is never trying. I spent 2 years hiding, running, writing letters that nobody would read. And yes, it was painful, but what would have been more painful? Living my whole life wondering, what if I had told her? When I finally sat across from Lily and spoke the truth, I wasn't expecting a happy ending. I was expecting rejection. I was expecting to walk away with a broken heart. But I did it anyway. Because I was tired of hiding, tired of pretending, tired of being the invisible boy who never raised his hand. And you know what? Even if Lily had said no, even if she had walked away and never spoken to me again, I would still be glad I told her. Because for the first time in my life, I was honest. I was real. I was me. That's what courage is. Not the absence of fear, but the willingness to act despite the fear. So here is my message to you, whoever is listening. If you love someone, tell them. If you're struggling, ask for help. If you have something to say, say it. I know it's scary. I know your voice might shake. I know your hands might tremble. I know you might get rejected, ignored, or laughed at. But keeping everything inside, hiding forever, that's even scarier. Because one day you'll look back at your life and wonder, what if? What if I had said something? What if I had been honest? What if I had just tried? I don't want you to have those regrets. So be brave, be honest, be visible. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. You deserve to be loved. And sometimes, just sometimes, the bravest thing you can do is simply tell the truth. If you like this story, please subscribe and share.